Today we are going to take a look at the Peloton Bike Plus. This is the new updated model from Peloton. It has a lot of really impressive features, but it's also priced $1,000 more than their original bike. So let's jump in and take a look at whether or not that price difference is actually worth it. Let's just take an overview of the bike and who we recommend the Bike Plus for. So obviously, I recommend this bike for people who love Peloton. If you are a Peloton enthusiast and you've maybe used the digital app or you've followed some of their classes or instructors and you really appreciate the content, this is a fantastic bike for you. We recommend, if you're really looking for that integrated experience, the digital app is fine, but it is not the same as having an integrated touchscreen. It just really enhances the overall functionality of the bike and your experience while riding it. So if you love Peloton, this is worth the investment. It really is. The other reason I love this bike is it is quiet and compact. So if you are someone who has limited space, or you have neighbors or children or whatever, you can use this bike any time of day or night. It won't create noise. It doesn't affect those around you. You can even ride the bike in the same room with someone else, especially if you're tapped into those wireless headphones. It also is really good because it provides low impact training. So cycling doesn't have a lot of jarring. It's very gentle on your joints. You can get a really good full body workout on the bike and stay low impact. It also has a lot of different varied options as far as yoga classes and boot camp classes and strength classes. So you do get a lot out of it. And the new rotating screen, which I'll demo for you in a minute, makes it so that as long as you have enough room around the bike to see the screen, you can get a really good workout. So it's a great option for people who maybe don't live close to a gym, are looking for something to replace their gym membership, or appreciate the safety of working out at home. We also recommend this bike for people who are self-motivated. So one thing we have found with home fitness equipment is the biggest hurdle is using it. So if you are self-motivated and you know that that content is going to get you on the bike and make the purchase worth it, this is a great option for you. We don't necessarily recommend this to someone who's looking for a deal or a discount. This is a premium bike and it has a premium cost. Also, we don't recommend this for people who don't want a subscription. Occasionally I will get questions about, well, can I ride without using the subscription? And in that regard, the answer is not really. If you want a bike that doesn't have a subscription, don't get a bike with a touchscreen. There's lots of great options out there, very functional, comfortable bikes. Don't include a touchscreen so you don't have to pay for subscription content. So if you're on the fence about that one, we recommend this to people who want a subscription and probably not to people who don't. So let's dive in and take a look at some of the features and the updates on this new Bike Plus. Let's do a quick overview of the construction of the new Bike Plus, including some of the new features and updates. So first of all, this bike, the frame itself and the feel while riding it is very similar to the original bike. They haven't changed much of the geometry. It still has the same weight capacity. It will support up to about 300 pounds. I think it says like 297 on their website, and it weighs about 140 pounds. So it has a good stable feel. You've got the same 30-pound flywheel and roughly the same geometry. It will support riders from about 4'11" up to 6'5". So it does have those multiple adjustment points, which I'll show you in a second. This one is about 59 inches high because the touchscreen is bigger. The original bike I think is 53 inches high, so it's just a little higher. It's 59 inches long and about 22 inches wide. So it's an inch narrower actually. However, there are some impressive upgrades that I really appreciate. One of the first ones is the integration of the wiring here on the front of the bike that connected the touchscreen to the bike. On the original bike, it hung down. Now it was a pretty sizable cable. It wasn't going to be easily severed or anything, but it did kind of hang down just a little bit. It could get in your way. You could have kids play with it. So you can see here, they've integrated all the wiring completely into the bike. And I think that that just makes it look very clean. And it also just removes that cable. So you don't have any issues there. The other thing they've done is made it so that the touchscreen, which originally would pivot just a little bit, now they've made it so it will rotate. So it will rotate a full 180 degrees And then you can turn it around here and rotate it back 180 degrees. That way, if you are on the floor, maybe you're doing a yoga workout, maybe you're on off the bike doing a boot camp workout, you can adjust the screen and see it from multiple directions in your room. They've changed the handlebars just a little bit. So they've extended this here so that you've got a little more room between the horizontal bar and the screen, which gives you just a little more headroom. They've also dropped this grip bar here. So you've got more of two horizontal options instead of that exaggerated arc up there at the top. It's just kind of a structural thing. I find this to be a little more functional because I'm a smaller rider. I can sit upright and hold the horizontal bar at the front, or I can lean in and I've got somewhere to hold here, and you also have the vertical grips on either side. And you do have to, if you are going to pivot that screen, you've got to make sure that the screen is all the way down. If it's tilted up, it will impact with these handles and you won't be able to rotate it. So just make sure that the screen's all the way down if you want to adjust the positioning on that. They also updated the adjustment knobs. So this bike will adjust just like the original bike. The seat moves up and down. It also moves forward and back. The handlebars move up and down, but they do not move forward and back. It has enough span and enough reach that you don't really need it. But I love how they've changed these knobs. So you now have a nice round knob. It's very easy to hold. I really love these knobs. I just think they're clean. They added a nice little texture. I mean, somebody really put a lot of thought into this. There's just a nice texture on that so that it's easy to grip and you can really crank it tight. And you have this nice clip here on the seat carriage as well. So it's very flat and comes up to rest securely against that seat carriage so it's not in your way. It's a very clean look. So it's one of those things that, you know, you probably wouldn't notice otherwise, but I appreciate the fact that Peloton really went out of their way to make some impressive updates that really make it both more functional and just look better. The other thing that I like, they've changed the plastic covering on both your magnetic resistance cover, your water bottle holders, and then your drivetrain. You still have the same number of magnetic resistance levels. You've got 100 different levels on this bike, and what basically that is it gives you little micro levels. So you can adjust it just a little bit and really dial in the resistance that works best for you. And I also love the fact that they used 100. To me, that just makes sense. It's easy to determine where you are in that range. If you compare this with other bikes that might have like 24 levels of resistance or 32 levels of resistance, it's a little bit harder to know why they decided to stop at 32. So the 100 levels I think is easy for people to understand. And it really does give you those micro adjustments in there. Your magnetic resistance is up here, and I'll demo that for you in a few minutes. But the nice thing about this is because there's no friction between the magnets and the flywheel, it doesn't create any noise regardless of the resistance level that you're on. So you can be all the way up at like 97. You're not going to hear any more noise than if you did it if you were down at level 7. Another significant upgrade is you'll notice these pedals are a little different. So they come with just the original Delta Look clip pedal that was on the original bike, so you can clip in if you want to, but you can also opt for a caged pedal that will lock onto that clip. So then you can ride with any athletic shoe. So you can move the bike. The nice thing is it's, you know, not too large and it's not too heavy. It has really nice wheels at the front end. So you can see you've got the wheels, they're slightly suspended when the bike is flat, so that they're not going to move or adjust your stability. You also have on both stabilizers, the front and the rear stabilizer, you have these adjustable leveling feet down underneath, and that is a really, really nice feature because all of our floors tend to have low spots, high spots. Even if you're on a carpeted floor, you might find that that bike rocks just a little bit, not because the bike is unstable, but because you've got, you know, variations in your floor. So you can adjust your leveling feet to make sure that you're very steady on the bike. And I really love the fact that they've got 4 leveling feet, 2 on the front and 2 on the back. And then you got these nice wheels right here. So if you do want to move the bike, you're going to want to tip it forward and roll it gently. Now there's a few things to do first. First, unplug it because the plug is going to move with you. And sometimes you'll move it and not realize that it's still plugged in. So always remove the plug from the bike if you plan to move it and set that plug off to the side. The other thing, and I've done this way too many times, is please remove your weights before you attempt to move your bike. And that's because those weights are going to come crashing down somewhere towards you or towards your screen when you tilt the bike. So always set those weights off to the side. Now the bike is completely turned off and unplugged. I prefer to put my foot down here and I'm just going to anchor the bike a little bit. Now you'll notice back here, they've got a nice clean pivot joint. I really like the way that they've created this joint here at the back. However, when you're attempting to move your bike, you want to hold it down low. Don't hold the screen. Never hold the screen. So I will tip it just a little bit, grab those handlebars, grab that back bar, and you can see as soon as I engage those wheels, they're going to move. So you can kind of adjust. You can move the bike forward and back. I find it's always easier to attempt to move it from this end so that I've got the screen by me. If I tilt it the other way and move it, it can be a little bit challenging to manage that screen because all the weight's on the front end. And then if I want to drop it down, I'm just going to hold it and make sure that I drop it down nice and evenly. So you can move it. I mean, it does weigh 140 pounds, you know. It's a little bit on the heavy side, which is nice because you got a lot of stability, but moving it around from space to space isn't too hard. I wouldn't recommend moving it up or downstairs, and even in or out of a room. I would avoid that as much as possible. Hopefully you can set it up in a place where you plan to keep it and then just kind of leave it there, but you do have that option if needed. So as far as warranty, assembly, delivery, things like that, Peloton has included all of that in your purchase price. So your purchase price out the door will include the delivery and the setup, which basically just they attach the touchscreen and then roll the bike into your home. But you know, they go so far as to make sure that your seat is secure on there, and then they'll attach the touchscreen for you so you don't have to worry about the wires and stuff. Assembling an exercise bike really isn't that challenging, but it's really nice when they do it for you so that you don't have to worry about little things that could be missing, or you know, pinching the wires when you're attaching the touchscreen. That's something you have to watch for. And as I mentioned, it's included in the delivery price. Peloton covers the Bike Plus with a 12-month limited warranty. So it's not the most extensive warranty that we've seen, but you do get a little bit of coverage there. And then one thing I really like about it is they are currently offering a free 30-day trial. Now, free means you have to pay for your bike and have it delivered, and then you have 30 days to assess whether or not it is a good fit for you. If it isn't, and you decide it either doesn't fit in your space or you don't want to pay for it, you can actually send it back. They'll refund your money and they don't charge you for shipping. So I like the fact that they've kind of integrated that 30-day trial in there without a restocking fee or any other hidden fees, so that you do have the option of trying it out if you like. All right, so let's look at the overall functionality of the bike, how it performs, how it feels, how those different magnetic resistance levels work. So one thing I love about this bike, and I loved about the original Peloton bike, is that they use an adjustment knob. I really like the knob because it just seems intuitive. It's almost like having a steering wheel. I don't know, it just seems intuitive. It's just the right distance so that it's not in my way. I've never hit it with my knees. I've never had a problem with it being in the way, but it's relatively easy to reach, and adjusting it is really smooth as well. You don't have to, it's not too sensitive that every little adjustment you can feel it, nor is it so loose that you're 3 rounds into it before you know what's happening. So I really like that adjustment knob, and it does have the auto follow feature, which I'll demo for you in a minute. You have your magnetic resistance down there, so it's quiet. And the magnetics kind of move backwards and forwards depending on where you are, and if you've locked in that auto follow, that changes it just a little bit. But the magnetic resistance is immediate, so as soon as you turn that knob, you're going to feel difference in that resistance levels. So right here, I'm just going to start, and I'm not even in a class, I'm just out in the main menu screen, but your resistance still responds to the knob. So I can actually turn up the resistance even though I'm not in a class right here. I don't have any idea what level I'm on, but I can feel the difference. So if I turn that all the way up, it gets really pretty heavy, and it's easy. It provides a lot of nice resistance if I want to stand. I don't feel like that bike is rocking. I don't feel like I'm unstable, and I feel like there's plenty of resistance. This will challenge even the strongest rider. So the max resistance is impressive on this. And as you can see, regardless of the resistance level that I use, it doesn't generate any more noise. So if I turn it all the way down, you don't hear any more noise from the pedals or the flywheel or the resistance magnets than you do when I turn it all the way up. So that's one thing that's nice. So I wanted to demo just a little bit. One thing that they've added to the new Bike Plus is the auto follow feature, which is something I really, really like. So anytime you're in a class, there is a little lock feature over on the right-hand side, just above the resistance metric that you can see. And once the instructor has taken you through the warm-up and he's cueing different things, he or she is cueing different levels of resistance for you to stay on. One thing I like that Peloton's done is it doesn't just lock you into that level, it actually gives you a range. So if you want to be kind of on the low end of what they've recommended, let's say they've recommended 25 to 40, and you're like, 27 is about good for me, you can put your resistance level there, lock it, and it will hold you at the bottom end of the resistance span, even as the class changes. So let's say you go from seated resistance and your range is like 25 to 40. And then the instructor says, okay, we're going to increase resistance and stand up. So then your resistance range goes from 40 to 50. It will then drop you down to like 41, 42 because you have set your resistance to be at the bottom of the range. And as long as you have that auto follow engaged, it will readjust you each time the instructor changes position or changes the format or how you're writing. It will adjust your resistance accordingly to hold you in that range. And I really, really like that. So you're not locked into one specific level. You've got a little bit of a range and you can adjust it within that range and it will hold you wherever you choose to adjust it. You can also turn off the auto resistance at any point just by hitting that unlock button. So I'm just right here, I'm riding with my favorite instructor, Cody Rigsby. He is always a hoot, so I like riding with him. And the way that the console is laid out, the way that the user interface is, you can always default to favorite instructors or class formats, things like that. And then if I turn this all the way up, I'm way outside the range right here, but I can stand up and pedal, and I have lots of room between me and the screen. I don't feel like the screen's right up here in my face, so I got lots of room. One other thing that I absolutely love about the new bike is that front-facing speaker bar there at the top. So on the original bike, which is actually pretty typical of any flat screen TV, is the speakers are on the back. And a lot of times with a flat screen TV, it's against the wall, so then the wall will rebound that volume. But on a bike, it was like projecting away from you. And I didn't love that. So right here, you've got your sound bar at the top. It's got really good sound. And they've even gone so far as to have a little cover that will slide back and forth to cover up that camera if you don't want it right in your face, or you can open it up if you want it. It's just one of those little things that somebody really thought through. The other thing I love is right here, if you do want to ride with wired headphones, you can plug in and you've got your headphones right there. It used to be on the side of the screen, which really wasn't far, but it was just far enough that occasionally it was an issue and it would catch on the handlebars. So right down here, it's not going to catch on anything. I would presume most people use wireless headphones, but this is an option if you want it. So let me just demo for you real quick. That sound bar. So you do have good sound coming out of there, and you can adjust that real easy on the side. So with my resistance knob right down here, I am ready to jump into class. So let's dive in and take a closer look at the console and some of the features of the integration. Here you can see the updated 24-inch touchscreen. It is very clear and clean. One thing I appreciate is they have put an anti-smudge coating on there. If you have a tablet or a phone or another touchscreen, you know how many fingerprints and stuff you can get on there. And because they intend for you to tap the touchscreen, it can get kind of dirty and have lots of fingerprints on it and stuff. So that just keeps it clean, which I really like. And you can see you've got really, really good high definition, nice graphics. It's very clear. One thing I love that Peloton does that I feel like they've always kind of really excelled at is this metric display down here. I have really more information than I would even need or want, but it's totally helpful. And once you get used to it, you pay attention to every single metric. So down here you can see you've got cadence, which is your pedal speed. So that just basically is your RPMs, how many rotations per minute you're getting on that flywheel. And this right here is your recommended range from the instructor. So right now he wants me to be between 70 and 90. I'm a little lower than that because I'm trying to talk. But once I get into that range, it's going to give me a yellow and be like, okay, you're where you want to be. So that's nice. Here's my average. Here's my best as far as RPMs. This is my average speed in miles per hour. This is miles per hour distance. Kilojoules is total output. That is a cumulative figure that will increase as you ride. And then calories is the same. So down here, this is zone training. This is just kind of different zones that you're working in. You can see right now I'm in a very light zone. I'm not working very hard. My output's only about 18 watts. So this kind of is a reflective of the wattage that you're generating at the time. My average Today, because I haven't been riding, you know, too high is 15, but my best is 154, so that's all right. They have added closed captions, which I like as well. You also have the option of displaying your music up here so that you know what song is playing, and you can always like that music if it's something that really stands out to you. Down here is your auto follow, so I'm gonna set that auto follow right where I want it. Okay, now I'm at the top of that range. My resistance is at 30, and because this is just the warm up, she wants me between 20 and 30, so that's right there. And then as she increases difficulty, it's going to hold me at the top of that range. So that's kind of how that works. And I really like the way that it kind of holds you where you want to be, but you're not locked into a specific level. Over here, this is your leaderboard. You know, some people absolutely love the leaderboard. Some people don't love the leaderboard. Either way, you can either use it or not use it. So you can just swipe and it'll go out of your way if you don't want to be bothered by it. Or it's also a fun thing that kind of gamifies the whole program and really keeps people engaged and involved in the ride. Up here at the top, you just kind of have an overview of the class. So right now we're just doing the 4-minute warm-up. Then it's going to take me into the body of the workout. And then here at the end, you just have a little bit of a cool down. The remaining time always counts down at the top. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how much time has elapsed and how much time is remaining. So I do really appreciate the screen. I love the front-facing soundbar. I love the fact that you can cover up or open that camera if you prefer. And I like the fact that you can adjust it based on where you are to reduce overhead glare or whatever else you need to do to make it so you've got good visibility on the bike. All right, so here we're at the main menu screen and you can see you've got these options down here at the bottom. So I'm just gonna hit the more icon down there at the bottom and I'm gonna do a scenic ride. If you just wanna do a manual ride, you can go to just ride. Scenic ride, these are some of my favorites. Now, one thing Peloton has done is they're starting to add instructor-led rides. Right now, as far as I can tell, there's only the 3. So if I go to guided rides, there's only these 3. You know, you've got a 20-minute and 2 30-minute options. But let's pull one of those up and I'll just kind of show you how it works. It does kind of give you a preview and overview. Of course, you've got an outline of your music and the class plan, just like you would with any class. So you can jump right in. Your metric bar is the same down here at the bottom. And then of course you have your leaderboard if you like it. So you can see Peloton has really done a nice job of, you get a quick overview of the class. The instructor is going to provide some details about where you are, local geography, things like that. And then you'll follow along as he rides. And this is one thing that I felt like was kind of missing from Peloton content. We have, you know, other apps and subscription services that are really good at featuring a lot of outdoor rides, and Peloton's kind of been lacking in that area. So this is one thing that I think has been really helpful. I'm gonna skip this intro so we can jump right in. But the videography is really crisp and impressive. They do kind of give you an overview so you're not just stuck with a single shot the whole time. He's followed by a drone and another cyclist. So you get multiple angles as far as where he is and where you're riding. Peloton has made some really impressive upgrades to the new Bike Plus. The original bike is currently priced about $1,000 less. So you might be wondering if those upgrades are worth that extra $1,000. What I would say is if you plan to use the bike regularly and you are a Peloton enthusiast, you know, those upgrades really are impressive. There's some nice features that really integrate. That auto follow feature is nice, the rotating screen is nice, the integrated wiring is nice. So just a few things that really are impressive. Whether or not it's worth it is kind of up to you because you really do get a good experience on that original bike as well. But you know, this provides a lot of nice options. The other thing that we love about it is, as always, it is quiet and compact. That's the great thing about indoor exercise bikes, is that they don't take up a lot of room in your home. They don't create noise, they don't create thudding, they don't bother neighbors. There's very few negatives, and if they are, they're kind of minimal. My one thing is I would like somewhere on the bike to rest my phone. My phone kind of fits in these cups sideways, but my phone's small, so a larger phone might not fit here. There's really no place to set a phone. You know, when you're home, you can maybe set it off to the side or whatever, but that isn't ideal if you have to reach down to the side while you're on your bike to pick something up. The water bottle cups, the holders themselves, they're just a touch flimsy. I mean, they'll hold a water bottle fine. You know, they might not hold your nice big Hydro Flask. They're sufficient, they're not exceptional. And then of course the cost of the bike is something that you do have to consider. You know, right out the door, you're looking at about $2,500. That doesn't include pedals or upgrades or accessories or other things. So, you know, price is always a factor to consider. But in general, we are really, really impressed with the updates on the Peloton Bike Plus. It feels stable and it's fun to ride. So if you do want more information on the Peloton Bike Plus, we have a written review at Treadmill Review Guru. It includes updated content and close-up features and stuff like that. So make sure to check that out. Also, if you liked our video, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. We love to know what you think, so drop a question down below. And our goal here at Treadmill Review Guru is to provide you information and content to help you make an informed buying decision. My name's Kristen with Treadmill Review Guru, and we'll see you again soon.